Grow those double Ds. Hold on, did I say 60-20, Ted? Because that is not 100. But also gives you a little bit more domination. Domination, not the word I was looking for. Domination. Hunker down. The most common question I get as an interior designer is how do I use more than one color cohesively in a room so it doesn't look like an absolute mess? And yes, those exact words have been used when they were asking me. I get it though. If you don't have an eye for design, color can be very overwhelming, especially when you're incorporating it into your own space. So I'm gonna give you a breakdown on how I use this foolproof method that isn't anything new to me, but it could be new to you, into how you can combine colors perfectly in your space. Welcome back to my channel. If you've not met me before, my name is Phoenix Gray, aka Design Daddy, or as some people have started calling it Double D, which I know has an ulterior motive, but you know what? I'm here for it. Regardless if you're renovating or renting, I'm here to help. You can also join my free design newsletter in the description box below, where I answer all of the most commonly asked interior design questions that I may not answer on here, because trust me, there are a lot of them. You can check it out and there are so many great answers on there. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Mr. Phoenix Gray, where you can see all my daily design tips and tricks. And if you're lucky, sometimes there's a shirtless photo on my story. I didn't say that, but here we are with my double D's in it. So in my last video, when I was talking about paint, a lot of people commented on my 60-30-10 rule. This is the most important part of making your space look cohesive, and there's a lot of considerations to put into it. So I'm gonna give you a full breakdown. I'm not good at math, but all I know is that it adds up to 100, and that seems like it makes sense. We're gonna start with the biggest number, which is 60. This is your dominant color. This takes up a majority of the room and the space that you see visually. This 60% being the most dominant feature in your room are usually your wall or your floor details. This 60% takes up the largest portions of these rooms, which are usually your wall colors or your floor. In some instances, depending on how large your sofa is and if you have the room for one, that 60% can be categorized in that dominant color feature. 30 is that secondary color that is complementary to your 60% dominant color. This is what is going to add visual interest. Whether you're using a warm tone or an undertone, this 30% makes up your chairs, your sofa, sometimes your curtains, depending on the room. This is what is going to break up at least the two most colorful areas in your space. 10% comes down to that accent color, and it is once again something that is going to complement that dominant and that secondary color. And no, it does not mean pop of color. If you have watched any of my videos before, you know I absolutely detest that term, pop of color, that was brought in by HDTV, and it was so widely used. Everyone's like, oh yeah, bring in that pop of color.
It's always fun to incorporate a fun pop of color in your house.
And you see like this beautifully styled room with like these mustard yellow pillows that don't complement anything in the space, or they're like, oh, look at this pop of color and it's a pink chair. No, we're not doing that. This is 2023 moving into 2024. We are not doing pops of color. So I want you to start changing that terminology and categorize it as accent colors or focused colors. Actually, that sounds way better. This 10% is typically made out of decorative items. So I'm talking about throw pillows, blankets. Once again, sometimes it can be categorized as curtains or even like light fixtures. These colors complement that 60 and the 30, but break it up with that visual interest to really give you more depth in a space. This 60-30-10 rule is so widely known and understood because it works on the color theory and how aesthetic items and colors complement each other in a space. Now you're probably like, Phoenix, I'm not good at math. It's okay, neither am I, but we can still achieve this look. So don't worry, I'm here to help. The idea behind color theory is that it allows you to bring harmony into a space. It creates a sense of balance, and this is what you want in interior design, or even if you're just decorating. You want a space to feel homey and at ease. And creating that sense of balance, whether it be by symmetry or using complementing colors to really accent everything together, that's how you're going to achieve it. Proportion is another key factor in how you create balance in a space. I could literally make a whole other video going into the interior design principles. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments because that's something I can always add in. But getting back to the task at hand, this 60-30-10. To create any sense of timelessness in a space that is future-proof, having that symmetry is what creates balance. I already mentioned that before and you're probably gonna get sick of me, but balance is the key to feeling at ease in your space. This 60-30-10 rule is what creates this equilibrium of understanding this mathematic scenario in layman terms. Like, this is going to make it the easiest way for you to understand. The idea of this rule is to create a visual hierarchy in a space. So one color is not overpowering the other ones, but complementing it so it actually feels at ease. Contrast and visual interest is what is added in by using that complementary color. This allows you to break up that space so your eye visually travels from color to color. Having that one dominant anchoring point, or that 60%, is what allows you to be in a space. That 30% is what is going to draw you in, and that 10% in adds in that visual depth because once again, your eyes are going to travel. If you've watched one of my previous videos before when I talk about the eye traveling through with light, this is how you categorize a space with paint. So your eyes travel through and it feels more thoughtfully designed. So this rule, or guideline at least, works really well when you're using 3 colors. Now you're probably asking me, Phoenix, what if I want to use more than one color? You can, but it gets more mathematical and it gets more complicated. So I will do a breakdown, but it may not always work for you. So if you are struggling to create visual harmony in your space, start with 3 colors. This is going to be your easiest standpoint, and I can always answer more questions or make another video about adding more colors in, but this is your starting point. I also want you to consider your personal style and how you color a space, how you decorate a space, and how you actually live in it. I don't want you just applying this 60-30-10 rule just to create visual harmony without you actually considering the colors that you enjoy and what works already with your existing space. If you do have a larger space, I will always recommend using darker and bolder colors because they are so fun to play with and you can get away with them in larger rooms. If you are unfortunate to have a smaller room like myself, I always end up using lighter colors or even neutrals. That way you can isolate the rooms to actually feel more impactful without compacting the space. Consider the elements of what you have already in your existing space. So the floors, what color are they? Your sofas and chairs, what color are they and what colors work off of that? Don't just willy-nilly pick 3 colors. Oh my God, I can't believe I said just willy-nilly. Don't just pick 3 random colors. I want you to find those base colors of what you have existing already and build off of that. It also comes down to the function of your room and how you want it to feel. Do you want it to be moody? Do you want it to be intimate? Or do you want it to be light and airy? Consider that as well. One of my favorite starting points for any space is creating a mood board. So I want you to take that into consideration for doing it in your own home. Find a bunch of pictures that really resonate with you and what you really enjoy. Then start fine-tune picking all of those pictures and seeing what colors work, what actually feels like you like it in the space. There could be colors, there could be textures. Start noting down what colors complement each other and whether they are warm or cool. If you are ever questioning what is warm and what is cool, find that color you like and hold it up to a piece of paper. That is going to be your easiest way to determine whether it has blue undertones or if it has yellow undertones. There are a lot of other color undertones to begin with, but that's going to be your easiest standpoint to find what colors work with each other. So stay on the warm scale or on the cool scale for this scenario. In any of my videos, I have mentioned to always test out your paint colors because they are going to change in your space depending on your natural light and your artificial light and the sun exposure that you have in each room. If you are north facing, you are going to get cool light a majority of the day and evening. If you are east facing, you're going to get warm light in the day, cool light in the evening. If you are south facing, you're gonna have pretty much ample, even, cool and warm, but warmer in the evening. And if you will face west, unfortunately like I do, you have cool light all day, and then in the afternoon and evening it gets very hot because the sun is setting in that direction. So take that into consideration, what direction you're facing in your house for each room and what paint you're actually using in each. I also want you to trust your instincts. I understand that not everyone has that creative design and colorful eye, but I want you to see how you feel in the space. You could find colors that you actually like and complement each other, even though they're not typically working well together. Trust how you feel in the space, trust what colors that you love, and trust the process, because starting painting is quite an ordeal and it doesn't always look how you want it to right off the bat. As much as I joke about what to not put in your space, at the end of the day, it is your home. I am here to just help you out, and my goal is to help your home survive trends and feel timeless. But if you like those colors, by all means, use them. I'm not gonna send you to jail. I'm not gonna get you in trouble. I'm not living in your space. So I want you to feel at ease, and I want you to actually be happy in it. That's all for today, so if you haven't already, like this video and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me at Mr. Phoenix Gray on TikTok and Instagram for all my daily design advice if you don't want to wait a whole week for my next video. And just remember, if you're ever second guessing yourself, just ask, what would Design Daddy do? Boom. Done.